Next here tonight on this final day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, I-Team investigator Kylie McGivern bringing us the story of a local woman who was among the first to be granted clemency in the state of Florida as part of a national movement in the early 1990s to take a closer look at abuse cases where the victims killed their abusers. And tonight, Kylie is telling the story of how this case from more than 30 years ago continues to haunt the woman who's now fighting for custody of her granddaughter.
We spent a lot of days here. This brings back a lot of memories.
Shalanda Burt worries time with one of her granddaughters will be just that.
This is my grandbaby.
Memories.
She's amazing. She is. That's the last picture I took of her before they took her.
Since she was born, for 2.5 years, Burt cared for her granddaughter in Manatee County after her daughter, the child's mother, was struggling.
I got a job. I helped my husband and we took care of her. And then one day, the caseworker came and said she had to go.
What did they say?
Nothing. They just told me I had to go drop her off they had me drop her off. So it was like I left her.
Burt had been caring for her granddaughter despite her past.
Right here.
A court document from 2021.
Statutory disqualifiers for placement with the maternal grandmothers are overruled.
But that all changed.
They said it's a law, so I would never get past the adoption point.
The disqualifier? A second-degree murder charge from more than 3 decades ago. Burt met the father of her 2 oldest children when she was 16 years old.
And he seemed like just a nice guy. And then when I got pregnant is when the abuse started. I fought back at first, but then when he seen that I fought back, he fought harder. He wouldn't let me leave. He would put guns to my head. I have a lot of police reports. I had no problem calling 911 whenever I could.
Court records confirm one of many incidents over the years. A time as police handcuffed James, he told Shalanda he was going to definitely kill her. Then came the day that would change everything.
And even though it's like 30 years old, it's like yesterday. I was pregnant and he had beat me like the night before. So I told him I needed to go to the hospital.
Burt said she was walking to her aunt's house when he caught up with her.
And he started kicking me with steel-toe boots. And I just like kind of blacked out. I never remembered like going to the house, but I did. I went to the house and got the gun. I pulled the trigger, it didn't go off. He said, shoot me, and he's walking up on me. So I pulled the trigger again and it went off. That's not who I am.
Burt was 19 years old.
I was sentenced to 17 years.
Burt requested clemency due to battered woman syndrome.
I met Kim Subiel and she told me about clemency and she put me on the road and I didn't look back. The cover story was Till Death Do Us Part.
January 1993, Burt was featured in a Time magazine article. The front page posing the question, do women who turn against their abusers deserve a special kind of forgiveness?
And then here you have me and my abuser. These are my 2 oldest daughters that I had from him.
9 months after the issue published, Burt was granted clemency. We obtained clemency records saying Burt describes the severity of the abuse she suffered not as an excuse, but rather as an explanation for her reaction of years of abuse which resulted in her crime.
They reduced my sentence to 7 years.
But Burt says she is still being punished with the removal of her granddaughter, now 5 years old.
Because she was just put up and sent to a family member that she didn't know. It's supposed to be what's best for the child. No one's looking at her saying, I want to come home with you. When am I coming to my room?
What has that been like for you?
It's hard. It's really hard.
Burt says they had unsupervised visits until September.
They didn't even tell me that was the last time.
Burt fears she won't be able to visit with her granddaughter again. DCF told the I-Team records related to child welfare and adoptions are confidential.
I just want her to know that I did not drop her off and leave her, and that I love her, and I just want her to be happy and hopefully will reunite. Once a person, I think, has paid the penalty that is given to them, they should be allowed to try and start their life over.
With photojournalist Randy Wright, I'm I-Team investigator Kylie McGivern, taking action for you.
And if you or someone you know is a victim of abuse, call the Florida Domestic Violence Hotline. That number on your screen, 1-800-500-1119.